So I think the knee-jerk reaction from a lot of people when they read this news that Star Wars: The Republic is looking to go third party as EA shifts the focus of the company away from Star Wars: The Old Republic onto Dragon Age and Mass Effect has a lot of people sort of very nervous about the future of our favorite Star Wars MMORPG. But I don't think there's actually any reason to panic. And I'm going to talk about that this morning as we dive into the depths of this article. This is from IGN. I caught this on Twitter last night, wanted to get it recorded first thing this morning to sort of talk about it. So, Bioware has not had a very good run in the last, I would say, 6, 8 years. Um, the Mass Effect Andromeda game was not very well received, neither was Anthem. And I will say that I loved both of these games, but I will admit that both of them launched with issues. I would say Andromeda was not nearly as bad of a launch as Anthem. And I went back and played Anthem again recently and really enjoyed it. It's a very fun game now that, they did all the actual bug fixing and everything else in the years since then. But when you have a big company that built up this huge reputation for, RPGs and sprawling storylines and epic games, and all of a sudden they just fumble and fumble, that's not good. And they are trying really hard to find a way to make BioWare profitable once again and really hone in on the two franchises that they know are going to give them the most bang for their buck. These ads are super annoying, but I can't turn them off with IGN, so I apologize. Um, Anyway, um, it's not all bad news. There are, I would say, there's a silver lining here, which is very interesting. Let's just dive into this. It says here, EA is nearing an agreement to move the ongoing development and operation of Star Wars: The Republic from Bioware to a third-party studio called Broadsword Online Games. Now, this is kind of a rumor, I guess, at this point. They've heard, IGN has heard, but it says here, according to sources, Broadsword and EA have signed a letter of intent with the deal expected to be finalized as soon as this month, which is June. This agreement would see the Old Republic handed over to current Ultima Online and Dark Age of Camelot developer Broadsword Online, which means they already have experience. This is the most important thing. The company that they're talking to already has experience taking older MMORPGs and continuing to develop content for them and continuing to run them. Now, to what level of success, that's kind of debatable up to various people. So that company is run by former Mythic Entertainment co-founder, and here's the very important thing: BioWare Vice President or former BioWare Vice President Rob Denton, who previously worked on the Old Republic in its early days. And that's the part I want everyone to focus on. So the guy who's running Broadsword Online. Hey everyone, Renfail here with the commercial part of the video where I say, hey, if you like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. And thanks to all of our supporters are here on YouTube and over on Patreon, our highest members, our guild champions, Crazy Relative, Remy D here on YouTube. And don't forget, if you want to support, it's really easy. You can do the memberships below, the Adventurers Guild, 3 different tiers. There's also the super thanks on any uploaded video or YouTube short that you find. There's also, of course, the super chats and stickers that you could do on any live stream or premiere, and the Patreon page if you want to dive into the fantasy world that I have with my brother and my wife, which is a tabletop game, a point-and-click adventure game, and a fantasy book series. All are great ways to keep this channel going and me going full-time. Thanks again for those of you who support. Let's get back to the video that you're watching now. Has experience with the Old Republic. He worked on it in its early days. He used to be the VP of BioWare. So that's something to pay attention to because that's why I say it's not all doom and gloom when it comes to our favorite Star Wars MMORPG. It says after publication of the story, EA did address the news in a statement that said almost 12 years after launch. Okay, so it's a little more than a rumor because they did confirm it. Star Wars: The Republic remains a success and continues to grow its dedicated and passionate community. We're proud of the work the team has done, and the future of the game and the community continues to be very bright. We're evaluating how we give the game and team the best opportunity to grow and evolve, which includes conversations with Broadsword, a boutique studio that specializes in delivering online community-driven experiences. Our goal is to do what is best for the game and its players. It says currently there are between 70 and 80 people who are part of the core development team on Star Wars SWTOR. It says more than half of them are expected to move to Broadsword to continue development on the title. So looking at that, let's say there was a team of 50. A team of 50 continuing to work on Star Wars: The Republic. That is more than enough to continue to produce really, really, really good content. Um, says here those remaining with EA would either have the opportunity to look for roles elsewhere within the company, otherwise they might face layoffs. Says the Old Republic continues to see planned content upgrades with the upcoming patch 7.3 and the next PvP season, with more expected down the line. EA will remain as the game's publisher, while BioWare will then refocus its resources on single-player games such as Dragon Age and Mass Effect. These two series announced new games in 2018 and 2020, respectively. Both games have had scarce details since then, and Dragon Age Dreadwolf, um, I think it just got pushed back to 2024, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that it's continuing to be worked on. There's obviously been a lot of people leaving that company or leaving that game, I should say, which is some people say that that makes them nervous, but at the same time, you know. it 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 does suck, but at the same time, leadership changes all the time. People move in and out of positions, and it doesn't mean that the game isn't going to continue to evolve into something that we all love. I know a lot of people are nervous about the upcoming Dragon Age game because of the fact that the one of the leaks showed like a God of War type combat style, which is a big evolution. But you got to remember that Inquisition was a big evolution from Dragon Age Origins. So the game, Dragon Age 1 was a lot different than Dragon Age 2 in terms of playstyle. Dragon Age 2 was a lot different than 3 in terms of playstyle. 3 was a lot different than 1 in terms of playstyle. So whatever we see from the next one, I mean, it's just going to be an evolution of the Dragon Age story. I'm personally more invested in Mass Effect than the Dragon Age story because I just love the Mass Effect series and I think it's got some really cool lore. And Mass Effect 4 is shaping up to be something really, really cool. I mean, Dragon Age 4 is no doubt going to be really, really awesome as well. But I think EA knows that they don't have the opportunity to have another fumble with BioWare because they've already done two. It's like third strike, you're out. So they have to produce an award-winning or at least a best-selling game that is, if not flawless in its execution, at the very least, something that is going to be not ridiculed. you know, that's going to be key here. Old Republic was launched in December of 2011. IGN gave it a 9 out of 10 at the time. Initially released as a subscription game, converted to free to play after subscription drop off, which was normal with all games at that point in time. Has remained free to play since then to a steady success. Sees regular updates, numerous expansions, and while it has never reached the heights of World of Warcraft's heights. It says it did achieve nearly 1 billion in lifetime revenue as of 2019. It's been a couple years then, so I bet it has reached a billion by then. Last year, Charles Boyd left the company after 16 years. He was the creative director at Bioware. It says it remains a popular period. The Old Republic remains a popular period within the Star Wars universe. Lucasfilm acknowledges it is a potential setting for future movies and shows. A remake of the Knights of the Old Republic game is in a stalled development phase right now. So they talk here about one way or the other. The Old Republic is on the cusp of a new era. I don't think this is necessarily anything to get panicked about. I will say that, obviously, anytime there's change, people are naturally going to be nervous about the change because you don't know if it's going to be good or bad. But I think in this case, we're just looking at an evolution of, I mean, the game's been out for 12 years now. And any older MMORPG is going to go through some, I don't want to call them birthing pains. We'll call them growing pains as they get older because, even if you have a dedicated fan base, there's a lot of competition now that didn't exist when these games first came out. So, and there's also really cool, I mean, Jedi Survivor was an amazing game. And, Lucasfilm has talked about how they're actively working on things. We've talked about there's been rumors of an upcoming film series set in the Old Republic. We also have, as they mentioned here, the Old Republic remake. I don't know. I just dove back into and did the Knights of the Old Republic 1 and Knights of the Old Republic 2 overviews here recently. Are they worth it in 2023? And even though the gameplay is a little janky at this point after all these years, the stories for those two games are amazing. And it's sort of like BioWare and Obsidian Entertainment at their peak. So I think, the game still has at least another 5 years in the tank, in my opinion. Could be 10 years if they can manage to keep producing good content. Because, I mean, the game's graphics are a little dated at this point, but the cinematics are still awesome. I play this game, as you guys know here on my channel. I play this regularly. I still think it's a great game. I've been playing it since launch. I will play it until it sunsets. So for me, I don't care where it goes as long as it produces good content. So that's it for me and the news for Star Wars: The Republic. Till next time, stay safe. May the Force be with you.